Día 4. Hablé con aquel que olía a muerte. Me prestó su oído al hablar y cruces que fueron marcadas se volvieron un velo de lágrimas a llorar. Y tuvo acción el Gabriel. Ah, chinga, hay un pelado ahí en la ventana. Qué pedo.
You're not speaking to me this morning?
Don't be silly. I just have nothing to say.
Have it your way.
Ah, está sentida, Grey.
Have you noticed this guy outside the shop?
Yeah, he gives me the creeps. I wish he'd go away.
Qué rollo con este vato.
Gabriel watches the man watching the shop.
Get the hell out of here.
The figure outside does not respond.
Bueno. Veamos el periódico de hoy.
Times dated June 21st, 1993. Gabriel's eye is immediately drawn to an article about the voodoo murders. He scans it quickly.
I don't believe this. They've closed the case.
What case?
The voodoo murders case. The paper says that the police have learned that the murders were a result of an underworld cartel war, and that the war is over.
That's not good?
It's ridiculous. And what about the killers? And the voodoo angle, they never got anything on that.
I know you were into it, Gabriel, but if it's over, that's hardly a negative. Anyway, if you're that upset, why don't you talk it over with your pal Mosley?
You don't get it, Grace. Just forget it, okay?
Gabriel decides to check his horoscope, despite his disgust. Death walks close to you today. Resist temptation lest his eye fall on you, too.
Peachy.
Gabriel also spots an ad for Sam Springleton, a jeweler. Sam hangs out at the Napoleon House.
Pues sí, evidentemente es demasiado extraño que se hayan cerrado el caso. Como dice Gabriel, todavía hay muchos cabos sueltos, por lo cual esto es aún más intrigante. Vean. Pero prosigamos por ahora.
Got a minute, Grace?
What's up?
Does the name Ogun Badagri mean anything to you?
Ugh, no. Makes my skin crawl, though.
Have you ever heard of Dambala?
No, sorry.
Do you know anything about veves?
Not a clue. Sorry.
Ritual patterns used in voodoo.
Fascinating. I can't help you out, though.
Do you know anything about a secret voodoo houndfall?
In New Orleans?
I think so.
No, I don't, but it sounds dangerous. You're not gonna try to find this voodoo group yourself, are you?
Would I do that? Do you have messages for me?
Your grandmother called. She said to remind you to stop by and go through your father's things.
Okay. Do you have messages for me?
That man from Germany called again, Wolfgang Ritter. Now he's claiming to be a relative of yours.
Interesting. Could you do some research for me?
Sure, what?
I have a pattern I need you to research.
How interesting. What is it?
It's a reconstruction of the tracings they found around the murder victims. The ones done in flour and blood.
Yuck. You shouldn't carry this kind of thing around. Who knows what these symbols mean?
Well, wear your evil banishing gloves if you want, but check it out for me, would you?
I'll see what I can find out. Anything else?
Guantes ahuyente demonios.
I can't think of anything. Can I get that phone number for Wolfgang Ritter?
Sure, I'll give it to you when we're done talking.
Muy existente ese Wolfgang Ritter.
Here's that phone number.
Thanks.
Es hora de ir a conocer a la abuelita de Gabriel.
I've got some things I need to do.
Good luck.
Gabriel, I'm so glad you stopped by.
Oh, sorry it's been a while, Grandma.
Not at all. Give me a kiss.
Oh,
Now come on, sit down. Tell me how you're doing.
Gabriel grew up in this room. Just being here makes him feel safe. And after about 5 minutes, claustrophobic. On the wall are portraits of Gran and Granddad when they were young. Gabriel's inherited some good-looking genes. The sofa has a worn blue chintz pattern that Gabriel remembers fondly. Gran's knitting. She whips through that stuff like there was no tomorrow. Gabriel doesn't knit. Okay, so Gran did teach him once, but he hasn't done it in years. Gran has a way with plants and kids. Mostly pictures of Gabriel, his dad, and Harrison Knight.
ah, por cierto, un dato curioso que esta foto que está aquí es de la creadora de este juego cuando era jovencilla, Jane Jensen. Ahí se añadió.
Grandmother Knight rarely uses the fireplace these days. Too much of a hassle to clean. Fresh carnations, Granny's favorite. That clock has been in the Wright family, Granny's family, for centuries.
That's my Gran. Adorable as always.
You're such a tease.
Hey, that's my Gran. Show some respect.
Otro chiste donde Gabriel le habla al jugador sobre que no manoseen a su abuela. Bueno, es hora de hablar con ella.
How have you been, Gran?
Just fine, dear. I'm sorry I bothered you at work, but I was hoping you'd get a chance to go through your father's things in the attic.
Don't be silly. You can call me anytime.
Bueno, de ahora en adelante, cuando abra una conversación, solo voy a preguntar las cosas relevantes de la persona, porque conforme pasa el juego, Gabriel adquiere más información y todo esto se le puede preguntar a las personas, pero luego nada más están diciendo que no saben nada y no saben nada, entonces nos limitaremos a lo importante, dependiendo de la persona.
What can you tell me about Nolans?
Nolans is very southern, of course, though not as much as it used to be when I was a girl. It's gotten much more influenced by the East Coast and that California stuff. Still, it hasn't changed as much as other places, I reckon. We've always been happy here.
What can you tell me about Nolans?
My goodness, boy, you lived here all your life, just like me. I can't tell you much that you don't already know.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
St. John's Eve? I remember when I was a girl, we always had a St. John's Eve Mass. The Mass was said at midnight, and we held candles. One time, on the way home, we were waylaid by a large group of drunken revelers. They didn't hurt us, but I was frightened. My father was furious. We never went to St. John's Eve Mass after that.
Tell me about yourself.
Me? Surely you have something more interesting to talk about.
No, come on, Gran.
Oh, all right, dear. What do you want to hear?
What do you do all day?
You know how I love to knit and work in my garden. I also take long walks. It's the only way to keep an old body like mine from stiffening up.
You're not old.
Oh, don't be foolish. I'm older than the hills.
Tell me about before you met Granddaddy.
Well, you know I was born Rebecca Wright. My daddy owned a lot of land outside of town. We grew peas and corn and cotton, all kinds of things. It was a good childhood, but my father was very strict. He didn't much let me out of his sight.
Tell me how you met Granddaddy.
Oh, I met Helson at a church revival. There was a traveling preacher back then, a big fella named Reverend Jim. I even remember his slogan, "Come to me to find your way." Your granddad was sitting right behind me and my girlfriend, Alma. And at one point, old Reverend Jim was flinging his hair around with his fine brimstone annex, and a piece of it, one of those small add-on do's for men, went flying off. I swear, Helson and I were the only ones that noticed. We both started laughing to beat the band. Everyone looked at us like we were a couple of loonies. Oh, it was then I knew that he was from me.
How you feeling these days?
Fit as a fiddle, and don't you worry your head about it.
Just tell me anything at all.
I had your father when I was 22. The doctors told me I couldn't have any more after him, so I'm afraid I spoiled him rotten.
O sea que Gabriel no tiene tíos.
Just tell me anything at all.
I hate to admit it, but I was a jealous little thing when your granddaddy and I were younger. I loved him so ferociously, and he did attract the eyes of the ladies whether he wanted to or not.
Just tell me anything at all.
I get lonely sometimes, but I have lots of girlfriends in the neighborhood. I call one of them if I'm feeling blue.
Just tell me anything at all.
I wish you'd settle down and give me a great-grandchild.
Oh, Gran. Just tell me anything at all.
I never loved any man but your grandfather. And I never will.
Oh.
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
All right, dear.
Hablemos de la familia Knight.
Tell me about our family.
Who would you like to hear about? Your granddad, your father, or your mother?
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad immigrated to America when he was 21. He walked his way through school, met and married me, and we had your father, Philip.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Your granddad supported me and your father with bookkeeping. Oh, I'll tell you what, though, he hated every minute of it. Didn't really like bookkeeping one bit. Maybe that was why he had the worst luck with jobs. Oh, the nights he'd come home afraid to tell me he lost another. And I'd tell him it didn't matter to me, but he felt ashamed, Gabriel.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Harrison was only 36 when he died. Your father was 8 years old at the time. Your granddad was hit by a streetcar in the business district. It took me nearly a year to believe he was really gone.
I'm sorry, Gran.
Oh, I know you are, dear.
Tell me something about Granddad.
Did you know that your granddad was a poet? He was. He wrote the most beautiful poetry for me when we were cold. I always thought he should have done something with that gift, but he was such a practical man. Didn't believe in chasing after dreams.
Esa historia de que el abuelo de Gabriel era un poeta nos va a servir en unos momentos.
Tell me about my father.
Your father was my only child. How we adored him.
Tell me about my father.
Philip suffered from terrible nightmares, just like your granddad did. Oh, they were two peas in a pod.
Ok, entonces ahora sabemos que tanto el abuelo como el padre de Gabriel tenían pesadillas como las que tiene Gabriel.
Tell me about my father.
When Philip met your mother, oh, it was love at first sight. They were married 2 weeks later. Never looked at a girl seriously until then, and he looked at me. You have your father's way with women, Gabriel. And your granddad's.
Tell me about my father.
I wanted to just lay down and die when he and your mother were killed in that car crash when you were only 8. It was the thought of taking care of you that kept me going, Gabe. The police say your father swerved off the road after being frightened by something. Perhaps a deer in the road, or a wildcat.
Bueno, esa es una revelación que tal vez muchos se preguntaban, que Gabriel ya no tiene padres, pues falleció en un accidente.
Tell me about my father.
Your granddad wanted Philip to have a normal life. He was obsessed by that thought. He pushed Philip to go to law school, but Philip was driven to art. He painted almost in a daze. He would get so inside himself when he worked.
Tell me about my father.
He always hated that it was Margaret's money that supported the three of you when his painting could. I kept telling him, try something more cheerful, like a landscape or two, but he couldn't do it. His work was just too dark and disturbing for the public, you know.
Es correcto. Si recuerdan, en la librería de Gabriel hay una pintura del papá de que es una calavera con 3 serpientes, o sea, bastante oscuro.
Tell me about my mother.
Your mother was Margaret Templeton when your father met her. She came from a very wealthy Creole family in New Orleans. She was beautiful and reckless. She was madly in love with your father, of course, but I also think she liked to define her family. Since you're so interested in family history these days, why don't you go by St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 and visit the family tomb? It would be such a sweet gesture.
It's just past the Ross tomb, right? Oh, maybe I will. Tell me about my mother.
Your mother's family refused to give her money after the marriage. All she had left was a modest trust fund from her great aunt, who happened to like Philip. The remainder of your mother's trust fund became yours when she died. That's what you used to open your bookshop.
Tell me about my mother.
The Templetons are all gone now. Every last one of them. Oh, they never wanted anything to do with us, of course. What a waste.
Bueno, vamos a hacer un cumplido.
You know, you get prettier every time I see you.
Oh, you.
Otro.
Have you baked any of your incredible molasses pies lately?
No, dear. But you let me know when you want some and I'll whip up a half a dozen.
What's new, Gran?
I've been working on baby sweaters for the church bazaar. Keeps me busy.
Done anything interesting lately?
I raised you.
Lately, Gran.
Oh, you know me, Gabriel. I always got my nose poked in something.
It must run in the family. You're looking well, Gran.
Oh, thanks, dear.
Is there anything you need?
Me? No, I'm just fine, Gabriel. I have more than enough of everything.
Nice weather.
Oh, Gabriel, please. It's been just awful. Muggiest summer of my life.
Are you okay, Gran?
I'm right as rain, boy.
Listo. Como les comenté, todo lo demás ella dice que no sabe o cosas irrelevantes, así que no las soltamos.
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
All right, dear.
Ahora subamos al ático.
I'm gonna go up to the attic, Gran.
Be careful of the dust.
These old picture frames have been up here for years. It's a lady's hat from the 1920s.
And from Gran's Virginia Woolf period.
It's an old dress dummy that Gran had in her sewing room years ago.
My first impression of the female form.
The sheet-covered upholstered rocker used to be in Gabriel's nursery. It's an old, dusty bicycle tire. That box of knickknacks has been up here for at least 5 years. An elaborate mechanical clock, probably of German origin, is among the discarded treasures of the attic. A skylight lets welcome sunlight into the attic. The old trunk looks like it's gone to hell and back. The brass bed frame is from God knows where.
There's a lot of Granddad's old stuff in here. Might be something interesting.
Ok, aquí tenemos que mover las cosas para encontrar una llave. Aquí está.
What's this? It's some sort of key.
A bundle of letters. Love letters between Harrison and Rebecca. More of Harrison Knight's German books.
Just what I need.
Es todo. Ahora vamos a operar el reloj. Está aquí al lado. Vamos a insertar la llave en este cerrojo. Y este es un acertijo. Para resolver ese acertijo tenemos que mover estos símbolos que están por fuera del reloj hasta que el dragón esté a las 12. Este es un dragón. Es un dragón, una espada, un sol, un ángel, un eclipse y una soga. Ahora tenemos que mover las manecillas hasta que sean las 3 en punto. Y vamos a girar la llave. La lógica para resolver este acertijo se puede descifrar en un libro de poemas alemán que está en la biblioteca de Gabriel. No sé si se acuerdan, en el día 1 lo leímos. Está en alemán, pero unas palabras que se podían traducir con el diccionario inglés-alemán era de dragón y 3, eran unas palabras que se predominaban. Entonces, al poner el dragón a las 3 en punto y girar la llave, se abre.
The key winds the
la caja.
clock's mechanism.
Granddaddy, you old fox.
Y tomamos una foto.
A secret drawer has opened in the base of the clock.
Una foto y una carta.
The letter is written in German, but Gabriel determines what he can about it. It was sent from a place called Schloss Ritter in Rittersberg, West Germany. The letter is addressed to mein Sohn Heinz and signed Wilhelm Ritter. One of the reoccurring words strewn throughout the letter is the word Schattenjäger. The only other thing that Gabriel can decipher about the letter is a sense of urgency in the handwriting and in the heavy use of a quill tip, bold strokes and underlining.
Veamos la foto.
The back of the photo has the following written on it. Schloss Ritter, 1925.
Y hablemos con la abuelita sobre lo que acabamos de encontrar.
Can we talk, Gran?
Of course, my boy. How can I help?
Have you ever heard of a Schattenjäger?
Schattenjäger? Schattenjäger? Oh, how odd, Gabriel. I haven't heard that word in years. My goodness, you've given me a chill. Your granddad used to say that sometimes in his sleep.
Really? Do you know what it means?
No, I'm afraid not. I asked him about it once. I don't think he answered me. Odd.
Thanks, Gran. Do you know anyone named Heinz Ritter?
Heinz Ritter? Oh, Gabriel. Where did you hear that name?
I found a letter in Granddaddy's clock.
Oh, I promised I'd never tell you or your father, but I suppose it doesn't matter now.
Tell me, Gran.
Your granddad's name was Heinz Ritter before he came to America. He changed it to Harrison Knight legally when he arrived.
Oh.
Why did Granddad change his name?
I don't know. I tried to ask him about his family and his life before America, but he didn't want to talk about it. He never even told me about his name change. I found out one day when I saw his passport in a drawer. Since he obviously found it painful, I never questioned him about it. But I'm sure it wasn't trouble with the law. Your granddad was the best man I ever knew.
Didn't Granddad ever say anything about his past or his family?
Only that his family was crazy and that he never wanted to see them again. He believed in some family curse. Thought that he could stare Philip and Philip's children from what he called old nightmare. Whatever Harrison wanted to spare you, though. Oh, it cost him plenty. He never did sleep well, and he would often get a faraway, guilty look in his eyes. He was wrestling with something he thought he should be doing, someplace he thought he ought to be. I don't know how he could think that he should be anywhere but with me and our child. It's a terrible way to live.
Do you know anyone named Wolfgang Ritter?
Wolfgang Ritter? Oh, no, dear.
Huh. Odd.
As I said, your granddad's surname was originally Ritter.
Así que el que le ha estado hablando a Gabriel probablemente tenga relación con el abuelo de Gabriel. Interesante.
Oh, nothing. Never mind.
All right, dear.
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
No, dear. I'm afraid I don't speak a word of German.
Does this mean anything to you, Gran?
That one in the middle is your grandfather. Those other two, oh, I don't know.
Listo, ya nos fuimos.
Well, Gran, I'd better get going.
Thanks for stopping by.
No problem. Love you, Gran.
Y ahora vamos a hacerle caso a la abuela e ir a visitar la tumba de la familia Gabriel. Aquí está.
DeMarco reads Franklin Wright.
These are Gran's folks. I never knew them.
DeMarco reads Merrill Planter Wright.
These are Gran's folks. I never knew them.
DeMarco reads Harley Wright.
Gran's sister. She died young.
DeMarco reads Harrison Knight.
Granddaddy.
DeMarco reads Philip Knight.
Daddy.
DeMarco reads Margaret Templeton Knight.
My mother. Hi. I'm Rebecca's grandson.
Much as when they were alive, the Wright elders give no response.
Gran talks a lot about you, Harley. How's it going, Granddaddy? Hey, Daddy. Miss you, Mom. Shoot. Huh. Looks like someone left something in that vase.
Veamos. Lana.
Inside the broken vase, Gabriel sees a $20 bill.
Looks like it's my lucky day.
Y bueno, ya nos podemos retirar.